Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! Let me tell you about the craziest night of my life. My best friend, Zach, fake name, and I had just finished a late-night movie marathon. We were walking home chatting about the movies when suddenly, out of nowhere, this car came screeching around the corner. It happened so fast, one moment we were on a sidewalk, the next, we were sprawled on the ground a few feet away. The car, a shiny black sedan, had swerved right into us. I remember feeling a sharp pain in my leg and then seeing Zach trying to sit up, his face twisted in pain. The driver's door swung open and out stumbled this lady. She was clearly drunk, her steps wobbly, and her words slurred. "What's wrong with you kids, jumping in front of my car like that?" She slurred, pointing a shaky finger at us. I couldn't believe my ears. We were on a sidewalk. I shouted, trying to get up, but the pain in my leg was too intense. Zach was quieter, but I could see the anger in his eyes. "I should sue you for damaging my car," she continued, her words slurring together. Her eyes were unfocused, and she reeked of alcohol. Zach, ever the calm one, tried to reason with her. "Ma'am, you hit us. We were just walking. You need to call an ambulance." But she wasn't listening. She stumbled back to her car and drove off, leaving us there on the ground. Thankfully, a couple who witnessed the accident came over and called an ambulance for us. At the hospital, we gave our statements to the police, and we were lucky in a way. I had a broken leg, and Zach had some bruises and a sprained wrist, but it could have been much worse. But here's where it gets really crazy. A few weeks later, Zach and I received notices that we were being sued by the lady who hit us. She was claiming that we had caused the accident and were responsible for the damages to her car. We were shocked. How could she possibly blame us? We were the victims here. But as we later found out, that's the thing about entitled people. They twist the truth to suit their needs, no matter how absurd it might sound. We knew we had to fight back. Neither of us had much money, but we couldn't let her get away with this. We found a lawyer who was willing to take our case pro bono, impressed by the injustice of it all. The court case was surreal, and there she was, dressed in an expensive suit, telling the judge how we had recklessly jumped in front of her car. Her lawyer was smooth-talking, trying to paint us as reckless teenagers out late at night, looking for trouble. But we had the truth on our side. The couple who had witnessed the accident testified for us. The police report showed that she had been drunk at the time of the accident. Our lawyer was brilliant, calmly tearing apart her story and presenting the facts. In the end, the judge saw right through her lies. Not only did we win the case, but she was also fined big time for her reckless behavior and for attempting to defraud us, and we also later pressed charges for harassment. It was a huge relief, and it felt like a weight had been lifted off our shoulders. Some relevant information. I'm 6'5" and 250 pounds. I don't have the temperament for retail. I work alone as a delivery driver, taking pharmaceuticals from a central warehouse to several stores, all for the same Blue Cat company. I am easily bothered by the way customers treat pharmacy techs. Seriously guys, it's not their fault your insurance didn't go through. Yelling won't change that. I've become fairly close with a lot of these techs, as they had to see me daily. Now to the incident. I walked into the store dragging my cart full of boxes. I am wearing shorts and a t-shirt. As I come up to the counter, there is this woman screaming at the tech. This tech was under 20 years old and was backing up as far as she could. The pharmacist was given a shot and couldn't leave for a minute. I was almost giddy at this, as I planned for weeks what I would do if the situation ever came up in front of me again. I walked up to this pleasantly plump woman with her bleached blonde soccer mom haircut and oversized pink glasses. "Excuse me, ma'am." "What?" she yelled, spinning on her heels and looking me dead in the, I wish I could say well-defined, but why lie, chest. Then she slowly looked up at my not at all handsome or smiling face. "Do you really want to be yelling at someone who can replace your insulin with sugar water?" "Excuse me," she said, not quite as mean as before. I think what I said was sinking in. "Think about it, ma'am. This lady could, though I don't think she would, replace one of your pills with potassium cyanide, and no one could ever trace it." She stormed off. The tech thanked me and I made my delivery. Just as I was getting the last signature, the customer came storming back. She of course was dragging the store manager. "That's him. I demand that you fire him." "I can't. It doesn't really work here." I spent the rest of the week waiting for my boss to fire me. The next day, that pharmacy gave me a plate of homemade brownies. I've spent that last 6 years waiting for a chance to use that line again. But so far, no luck. So I work at a hotel in a city that has been hit pretty hard by COVID. Our state has shut everything down and we are just kind of getting back to normal. Prior to the pandemic, we had a 4-room service menu and cleaning was every day without the need to request it. However, after COVID, posed to reduce contact to a minimum and due to the staffing issues the whole state is having, the room service is no longer available and the cleaning of the rooms is done by request only. Hence the fact that if you request it every day, your room will be cleaned every day, no questions asked. Now that I gave you context, to the Karen. This guest stayed with us before, about 3 times pre-COVID and 7 times pod-COVID. So he's fully aware, or so we would think, of the policies, which are also clearly explained when you make your reservation. Night 1, he calls the front desk trying to order pizza, just to have the front desk explain the situation all over again, which leads to him requesting one of us to go somewhere and buy pizza for him, which we politely declined by teaching him how to use Uber Eats. Day 2. This male Karen comes to desk enraged about his room not being cleaned while he was gone, saying he knew about the request policy but he finds it ridiculous and his room should be cleaned anyways. Night 2. Same call about room service, same interaction. Now this male Karen comes down filming and yelling, "How do you guys call yourselves a hotel and won't behave like one? I will sue you for allowing my kid to starve and not providing the food for him. You're all going to jail. I will lose your jobs. I travel all around the world and all hotels have food available." Well, male Karen, if you travel all around the world, you should know to read the terms and conditions. And also, you would know to check the minibar and drawers for the large amount of snacks and drinks available there for your spoiled kid. Every year my family does Christmas at my mom's and she insists that we open all presents together, even gifts between spouses and so on. It's normally an okay tradition, but sometimes it can spark jealousy or comparisons between families. This year my husband saved up and bought me my dream designer handbag for Christmas. I know some people aren't into that, but it's something that I truly love. We're not well off, but we're not doing poorly either. But I knew that the handbag would cause a lot of discussion amongst my siblings and parents. I just didn't want their opinions and criticism to ruin a special gift my husband worked hard to get for me. So this year my husband got me an extra gift that wasn't the real gift. It was a moderately priced skincare set. Christmas came and went without drama, but I recently posted the picture of my husband and our kids at dinner. And my handbag could be seen hanging on the back of my chair. One of my friends commented underneath about how gorgeous my Christmas gift was as well. Long story short, word got back to my family and they totally blew up. Some were annoyed that I opened the private gift separately from the family. Others were criticizing the price of the gift. My siblings are now calling me disingenuous for harboring a secret gift. And they said that I did it because I think I'm better than them. I didn't open it with them because I didn't want their opinions, but now I'm starting to feel like I'm the jerk for keeping it a secret. I knew either way that they would all criticize me though, since it was so much more expensive than all the other gifts. So I don't know whether or not I'm wrong here. And now some comments on the post. Someone saying, "You're not the jerk." And honestly, it's time you be 100% bluntly honest with them. Screen cap all their snarky comments and send a group chat with them stating, "If you all want to know so badly why I harbored a secret gift, as you call it, these types of comments are exactly why. This bag is not something I thought I would ever have, as we're not well off enough to make purchases similar in cost to this bag. But my dear husband worked his butt off and saved up to get it for me, and instead of being happy for us, you talk crap. You call it a waste of money or claim that I think I'm better than you. The behavior all of you have around Christmas gifts sucks a joy. Out of even getting something like this, And had I opened it at mom's house in front of all of you, I wouldn't even have been able to be happy about it because I knew all of you would react exactly as you did. Honestly, I am not sure if my family and I will be continuing to take part in this tradition because we are tired of the jealousy, comparisons, and competition. It's tiring. It makes it hard to be happy with the gifts we get, even if we would be ecstatic to get them, as I was with this bag when he gave it to me. Or something similar. Basically, just point blank put your feelings out there. Call out the jealousy, the criticism, the comparisons, and competition. If you can give specific examples of such things, so that they can't go, "Oh, that's in your head." If they cop it out and say that they are fine with it, tell them that's fine, but that you are not. And honestly, after their reaction to the bag, I would tell them that you and your family are considering stepping back from the tradition due to how tiring it's become. Another commenter adds, "Why are you allowing your mother to dictate when you, a grown woman, are allowed to open gifts from your husband? You're not the jerk here for opening the gift your husband gave you, but you're being a jerk to your husband engaging in this farce where your mother controls you to the point you had to open a fake gift. Seriously, time to grow up. Tell your mother that your family will be opening gifts Christmas morning. Before visiting your mother, you will no longer open your husband's gifts in front of her because that's a special moment between the two of you. It's also none of your mother's or siblings' business why he gets you or how much he was spent. Honestly, this is so controlling, and it's what caused all this stupid sibling rivalry. Your mother made it your siblings' business what your husband buys you for Christmas. Nope, that ends. Don't discuss it, don't engage. Just inform them that you will go to mom's house after you've opened presents at home. When they get mad, say it's not up for debate. If they persist, then leave. A third commenter goes with, "It doesn't make sense to bring gifts between families to one person's home, then take them all the way back home just because family wants to see you open them. That is ridiculous. For next year, tell the family you are not doing it. Gifts between you and your husband will be opened when the two of you want to open them. And any gifts are not open to their critiques. Just who do they think they are? Cut and paste. This is my gift from my husband. I like it. I am not taking comments about it at this time. And because of your very not Christmassy attitudes, my husband and I will be opening our gifts at our home." A fourth commenter seals it with, "Not the jerk. My dad is super good at browbeating and guilt tripping when we kids don't do things his way. So I know how it feels to feel like you can say no to a parent. But I promise you that you can. And they may pitch a fit about it, but in the end, if they actually care about your feelings as their child, they will back down. But you need to tell your mom that you and your husband are not participating in this tradition any longer. I feel like what you did was very polite. How you spend money is private. You decided not to make it showy. Your family is acting ridiculous." In early 2020, I was hired under the title Assistant Manager at a local automotive shop. We mainly sold tires, if you're American, and alloy wheels for passenger vehicles. The company owned several stores. I reported directly to my manager, who then reported to the owner of the company. Shortly after I was hired, I noticed the behavior of the manager was far from professional. He would constantly mock and berate me for being the new guy. I believe part of this was jealousy and insecurity on his part, as I ended up recording more sales under my name within the first few months. He would also knock off work early and start drinking beer while the rest of us continued to work. I remember when he found out that I participated in MMA training sessions after work, and he tried to goad me into a fight for his own amusement. Clearly, this guy didn't like me, and I was starting to get the feeling that he was trying to get me to snap or lose my cool, and as a result, my employment. I became even more certain of that was what happened next. The story. During the few months that I had worked there, I had noticed that our takings for the day and sales records didn't match. I would often spend half an hour to an hour after work trying to figure out where the errors were coming from, whilst the manager would simply throw his hands in the air and exclaim that he had no idea how this was happening. The recurring issue seemed to be that our cash takings had been recorded incorrectly. There would sometimes be an excess amount of cash that didn't match up to what was recorded on our sales/invoicing software. Other times there would be less. I was at the time an accounting student studying towards my bachelor's degree. I was already suspicious of the cash being out each day. However, given how the manager had been treating me up until this point, I was concerned that any complaint would somehow be twisted and used against me. And boy, was I right. Several weeks later, my manager took some time off. During this time, I managed the personal record in store sales, and also noticed something interesting. The cash was never out at the end of each shift. I reported this directly to the owner of the company, given I was acting manager during the time my manager was away. I was expected to report to the owner every day, and I explained what had been occurring whilst the manager was there. In all honesty, I was hopeful that the owner would be having a word with the manager about the discrepancies. However, I was also wary, as I believed once the owner spoke to my manager that the manager would immediately know it was me who reported this. When the manager returned to work, he immediately approached me with a disgruntled look on his face. "I've spoken with the owner. You tried to blame me for the discrepancies? You should focus on your job properly, and this wouldn't happen." I was quite taken aback by how angry he was, though I wasn't surprised that he twisted it and tried to place the blame on me. Given his reaction, I am even more suspicious at this point. He wants me to do my job properly, eh? Malicious compliance ensues. That same week I got to work. I started paying attention to what customers were paying when they were dealing with my manager. Behind his back, I began examining all of his sale transactions and invoices with a fine comb. As the days rolled by, I started to find evidence of his dishonesty. When it came to a few cash sales, my manager was doing the following. Example, would tell the customer the price is $200 if he pays cash. Would discount the price by $50 in a sales/invoice software. Would put the extra cash in a till and record a $150 cash sale. Before we did the cash up at the end of the day, he would sneakily pocket this extra cash whilst no one was around. Though he was very foolish, as he clearly couldn't remember the exact amount he had swindled. Hence, why the cash would be up some days, didn't swindle enough, or the cash would be down, swindled too much. The end. I took screenshots of the discounts he had been given on sales and sent them to the business owner, along with a report. A report was a detailed description of my findings. The report also showed that on all days he wasn't there for the cash count, there was no variance. When he was there, well, the owner was so infuriated, in fact, that he ordered my manager to do a mandatory drug test, pee in a cup style, on the same day he found out. And no surprises, he failed. Turns out the manager had quite the meth habit. This was most likely his sole motive for stealing cash, and the owner was beside himself. We operate machinery every day in this store, and so the thought of a manager walking around high as a kite wouldn't sit well with any health and safety professional. In fact, it could have landed the owner in serious legal trouble if any accident or injury occurred under this manager's watch. The manager was terminated immediately for violation of his contract and was later taken to court by the owner in an attempt to recover the stolen funds. Safe to say, I was promoted to store manager position shortly after his termination.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.